Hello collectors, it's Steven here with another review. This time it's the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2001, the first new non-repaint MonsterArts since Mecha King Ghidorah back in early 2015. And fans have been chomping at the bit for new life in this line. But was it worth the wait? Well, you know why you're here. Let's take a look to see whether or not this Bandai Premium Webshop exclusive is worth adding into your collection. Once again, Sakai was brought on to bring GMK Goji to life, and he absolutely nailed this guy. Many collectors have already been praising this figure as the definitive GMK Goji, even beating out the multiple X Plus figures. While I do find the figure to be great looking, it is absolutely not without its flaws, even if they are minor, most specifically the paint. Starting with the head, the eyes look fantastic with nicely applied silver and gray paint, which really brings out the dead, soulless look this Godzilla was going for. But the teeth, well, they look cheap, let's be honest. No shading at all, just slapped on paint. What's up with that, Bandai America? Wrong division. The likeness, however, was nailed in the sculpt for the face. We can definitely tell this Godzilla is very creepy. As we continue down Godzilla, the arms look nice with the claws on the hands painted wonderfully. Of note, however, some GMK Goji owners from Japan have reported either sloppy paint, like it was wiped off, or none at all on the claws. This is something you're really going to need to take into consideration when you're buying this guy used. The main body looks nice with subtle gray shading and wonderful sculpt to really give it that potbelly look. And between the hands and the main body, you've probably noticed a brown wash. Yeah, odd choice because in some areas it pools and it's a bit overboard, like on the dorsal plates here. Mainly for the dorsal plates, we see the bluish gray used on the claws here once again, although we do also see that odd brown on them. The sculpt is really cool. You can see a bunch of little ridges and little bumps. Very creepy. What's odd though is that the dorsal plates are mangled and twisted at the tips, and looking at other MonsterArts figures, whether or not it's accurate is debatable, but it is consistent across figures. It's not a quality control issue. However, you will see a small quality control issue here with this random splotch of paint. The tail is about the same as the dorsal plates in terms of sculpt, though it's not painted as well as the dorsal plates, and it does feature the brown wash rather well. It's also rather short, I think so, which is a bit disappointing. The legs of Godzilla are nice and chunky, and the feet look big and powerful with the same gray that's used on the claws. Overall, he looks good, though I'm not sure why they went with the odd brown. Why not blue or gray? It definitely worked with the 1954 Godzilla from NECA. Still, the sculpt is the strongest point of the figure, and it definitely gains back a few points here, where it loses some in other areas. Moving along to articulation, Godzilla has plenty of joints which work rather well. However, it's a bit of a mixed bag, and you'll see why. So what do we have? First off, we have the jaw, ball joint, opens and closes, can wiggle it around like that. Not as much as the first Godzilla where you can get him to go slack-jawed or whatever, but it's still pretty good. Now, what's interesting is we have a swivel for the tongue. Why? I don't know, but we have it. Now, moving on to the neck joints, rather cool here. First, we have the head attached to the neck on a ball joint, so you can twist and turn Godzilla's head around along with getting a little bit of up and down movement from that specific joint. Now, what's even really cool, or creepy, is you can spin Godzilla's head all the way around like that. Now, imagine this coming at you at 3 o'clock in the morning for some nice lovin'. I wouldn't. Anyway, so we have two more joints in the neck. We have this one here, which is a ball joint. Can turn Godzilla's head left and right, and you can already see a problem I'm going to talk about. Now, with this joint in specific, if you do move Godzilla's head from side to side, like I've been showing you, it may pop off. It's not doing it now, of course. But that joint, for me, it likes to pop off. Now, we have this neck joint here at the base of the neck, near the shoulders. This is really cool. If you have Godzilla looking all the way down, like that, it looks fine. It looks natural. You sort of have that bend in the neck. But then, if you want Godzilla to look all the way up, at least as far as he can, it sort of slides into the body, the sculpt, so this way it looks rather seamless. That's really cool. They did this on Godzilla 2014, and I'm glad to see that this sort of engineering is back again for this release. Always awesome to see. Now, for the shoulders, we have ball joints, as you can see here. You can spin Godzilla's arms almost all the way around. Well, all the way around, but I really wouldn't recommend it because you're going to scratch up against the sculpt back here. And then we have a bicep swivel. Can spin the arms around. Hey, Mom. Then we have hinges at the elbow. And we have ball joints at the wrist, as you can clearly see here. Yeah, like I said, mixed bag here. Not too happy about this. Now, you may notice that there's a little piece of sculpt right here. Now, on some other Godzillas, that's actually a hidden swivel hinge combo, but it's not. It's just a little sleeve, so to speak, to cover up the rather long barbell-style ball joint they used for the wrist. So, yeah, rather aggravated with that. Moving down, we do have an ab crunch, which, yep, ball joint. This guy. That mostly happens when I go to turn Godzilla from side to side, like so, sort of get him rocking back and forth. But it is useful with the waist joint, because you can get Godzilla to hunch. Because you can get Godzilla to hunch all the way over, sort of like he was intended to do in the movies, but he wasn't. However, some people are going to complain that there are some serious gaps here. That's fine. Get Godzilla to stand upright like he actually was in the movie, and you have no problem there. Moving down, we do have ball joints for the hips, and some really cool range of movement there. You can get Godzilla to raise his legs all the way up if he wanted to. However, I do have a feeling, based on how I get him to stand upright, that this Godzilla is similar to the 2014 design in that the thigh sculpt in here collides in with each other. As you can see, it's sort of hard to move them both around to the extremes that they're at, but c'est la vie. Moving down, we have hinges at the knees, and unlike some other Godzillas where there's a ball joint going into the thigh, it's actually just a peg here. It's just a swivel. So you're not going to get all of the range of movement you would normally expect like some other Godzillas you may have. Going on down, we do have ball joints here in the ankle, so you can get a bit of ankle rocker movement, which is always great to have, and it's especially nice on this Godzilla because you can sort of get a sumo pose out of this fat boy, which is always great to have on your larger Godzillas. And then we get to the tail. Now, with some of the previous Godzillas, we've had really soft plastic used here, and you can't really hold the tail up like that. Thankfully, not a problem here. And the really cool thing about this is you get all of the standard articulation you would get from some of these newer Godzillas, but even with the frustration of things popping apart. And I am really starting to get frustrated with this, because for some reason this is just happening now during the review. Yeah. So you're kind of getting this feeling live from me. But anyway, you can get the tail to go up all the way like that, like Godzilla 2000 Millennium, though it's not as long. And like you should guess, they're all ball joints in here. Even when we go all the way up to the tip, this section right here is just solid sculpt. So for articulation, your mileage may vary. Maybe I just got a really crappy one in terms of quality control and shit just likes to fall off, but who knows? Chances are you may have the same issue yourself, because some of it's not even due to just like soft plastic used for the joints. It's just overextending the range of the ball joint. And considering the design, you can see some parts here up by the neck that sort of indicate, hey, don't move it past here, even though it really should. Yeah, not great. Now, accessories. Fucking nothing. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I understand you have to hit a certain price point, and I understand you have to keep things within a range. This is the first truly new MonsterArts figure we have gotten since Gamera, since Mecha King Ghidorah was mostly a retool, and we get no accessories. There are so many different things they could have included. They could have included the sub, they could have included the heart, they could have included a little accessory attachment so this way Godzilla's blowing his chest out like he did at the end of the movie. Spoiler, but I mean, yeah. Or we could have gotten a super atomic beam, we could have gotten a little mushroom cloud. Nothing. Nothing. For $80+ we get a rather bare bones, slightly larger than average Godzilla. I'm going to leave it at that, so that way I don't swear any more than I already have. And here's a nice size comparison with other figures you may have, ranging from Revoltex to NECA to other Bandai figures. He's not much taller than other Godzillas, but he is bulky, similar to Destroya. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. He looks nice, even with some random QC issues here and there, but the articulation is rather middle of the road, to be honest, with joints popping off rather easy. It's very hard to say that the interesting choices used here in the engineering are good. No accessories flat out blows for this guy, let's be real. At the end of the day, I think this Godzilla is average. This is definitely a pose it and leave it figure, at least for mine. Try to get it on sale if you can. Around $70, $75 is much better price than the $83 and up some are asking for. For some, this figure will click right away, and it may just be your favorite Godzilla in the line. That's what I thought it would be for me. But for others, well, it's another neat one on the shelf. That's how I'm looking at mine. While the figure does have some strong points to it, it does have quite a few weak ones. By no means could I consider this figure fantastic. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like the video and subscribe. What do you think of the figure? Drop a comment down below and let me know. Interested in picking this one up? Check the description for some really cool links to take you where you need to go. Want to watch some more videos? I picked a few just for you, so click the annotations on your screen right now for more great content. Until next time, collectors!